We come to spiritual community this morning with many hopes in our hearts. The hope for inspiration, the hope for comfort, the hope for renewal. In this time and space, may inspiration water our thirsty souls. In this time and space, may comfort blossom in the gardens of our hearts and bring us sweet relief. In this time and space, may renewal course through us, as electric as a surge of energy, as serene as a nourishing meal, as contagious as joy, and bring us vitality and rejuvenation. May our time together honor all the hopes we hold within. May our time together bless us with the gifts of inspiration, comfort, and renewal. And now we'll have our offering. We are thankful for this place. Oh, good. We are thankful for this place where we gather on a Sunday morning, where we connect with that which is meaningful in our lives, to that which is holy. We understand that for this place to be here always, it requires our time, our talents, and our economic support. In the passing of our lovely felt chalice that Lori made, we are moved to put whatever we can into it, saying all that we treasure here.
I'm sorry. I'm late.
That's okay.
You're in the right place. Hello.
Good morning. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about this wonderful man, Thomas, or Tommy as I know him, and most people do, Tommy Cambridge. He is a multifaceted, adept leader with a life and career that has spanned the arts, science, and business. He has been a corporate executive, a technologist, a mentor, an actor, a comedy writer, an improvisational, a performer, improvisational, and a small business owner. He gives of his time and resources to raise funds for the less fortunate and in the areas of senior support, literacy, and clean water. He joined Growing Older Together in May of 2022 as executive director and also serves as a GOT volunteer. Tommy will share a brief history of the organization, how donations are raised and used, and an overview of services, and a summary of recent success statistics. Say that 3 times fast. It's going places. GOT is pretty amazing, and we're happy to have Tommy Cambridge here, executive director, to talk to us today about it. Mom, have any?
Thank you, Joe. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Tommy Cambridge, Executive Director of Growing Older Together, and it's wonderful to be here this morning. I want to start with a message of gratitude. Jill informed me last week that GOT will be the recipient of your generosity in financial form, I guess as a result of the Bud Roo Walkathon that was done last year. So from me, on behalf of my board of directors and all the members we serve, I want to thank you for your consideration and your generosity. And to all the people who marched or walked or trudged or sashayed in the Bud Roo Walk, thank you. And I know there's also at least a couple of volunteers, GOT volunteers in the audience, so thank you for all you do. At GOT, Growing Older Together, I say most everybody says GOT, it's not Game of Thrones. You're better than them, because we're a real thing and that's just a TV show. So for those of you who don't know where we came from, GOT was essentially born out of this fellowship.
Yeah.
And I will talk a little bit about that. It started in 2014, I believe, and it was 2 years of hard work, planning, and dedication. And then in 2016, GOT became a legitimate going concern, which means that next year will be 10 years of serving our seniors in our community. So that will certainly be a reason to not only observe, but to celebrate. Yay, us. So what is our community? Well, it's this beautiful geographic area we live in, the Upper Delaware River Valley, which is, for GOT purposes, is all of Wayne County, since that's where we were born. But we've also moved into western Sullivan County. We hug the eastern shore of the river, and we go as far as Jeffersonville, Eldred. We don't have a predefined line of demarcation, but just our growth is relatively organic. We have to get volunteers in an area, and then we can serve the seniors that live in that area. So it's, it's a bit of a chicken and egg. Whoever shows up first. If a potential member says, I live in Bethel and I would love to receive your services, then we make a special effort to go out and find volunteers in that area. And just slowly but surely, we march eastward. We also have a little bit of a presence in northern Pike County. And I'm going to say right here, so I'm holding myself accountable, I'm going to work hard at doing a better job of serving people in Pike County, because it just hasn't been the focus, but it's time. Especially now that we've got a nice foothold in Sullivan County. I'm also going to let Carol Rockland, she's one of our founders, and I did a video of her last year, which we're going to show in a minute. I'll let her talk a little bit about the genesis of GOT. The essence of our mission over the past 10 years has not changed. It's been tweaked, reworded a little bit to reflect the times. We had, our board of directors had a strategy session last summer, right here in this room, where we looked at the current mission statement, and we changed it ever so slightly. And here's what it now says. GOT is here to provide senior residents the support they need to live independently, fostering a sense of belonging and an enriched quality of life. Our core services have really not changed over the past 10 years. The services that were required by seniors 10 years ago still hold true. They're pretty basic and fundamental. It's private transportation, mostly to doctor's offices, but also to the bus station, to the grocery store, to the pharmacy to pick up prescriptions, to visit grandchildren or whatever. We don't care. Our volunteers are, they're all vetted for valid driver's licenses, proper insurance, as well as criminal backgrounds. We do a lot of home chores. We go in and help people declutter, reorganize a room, change batteries in a smoke detector, bag up garbage, and take it to the curb. We do a lot of technology support, and that's not just a challenge for seniors. I am a senior, but I have a big challenge with that, and I have a technology background. But as a volunteer, I do a fair amount of technology support tickets, and it includes cleaning out maxed out email inboxes, that reach capacity and won't take any more until you do something about it. Hooking up new equipment like a printer to a home Wi-Fi, resetting credit cards that have expired for online shopping like Amazon. That's another big one. And I just want to tell a quick story about one of our members. I can mention her name because we did a testimonial that she participated in. Her name is Nancy Wells, and she's a lifelong artist who lives in Damascus. And last year she was having an art show in Honesdale at the art center there. She had been in the hospital and then a rehab hospital for months. And she comes home, and Nancy, by the way, just turned 90 in January. So she was super excited to do this art show, and she needed to get invitations emailed out to about 500 people in her Gmail contacts folder. And she couldn't get into it, so she called GOT. I just happened to be the one who picked up the ticket, and I thought, oh, this is going to be easy. And I went over to her studio, which has a lifetime of her work. It's an amazing place. And it just turned out that she didn't have the proper password. It had expired for her Gmail account. Well, resetting that wound up being a bigger deal. It had to go to a different email account that had maxed out in its space. So it required more cloud storage to be purchased. The credit card that was on file for that had expired. Well, there was a new one. It was in a pile over here. We found it. It had to be reset, or it had to be activated. So nothing was like, a life-altering situation, but each one was like a house of cards that had collapsed, and we had to turn over one card after another. It took 2 visits and 4 hours. I was determined, though, to get that thing fixed. And, and it wasn't because of me, but because of the services that GOT offers. Nancy was able to have that show. She was able to send out 500 invitations, and her words, not mine, it was a very successful show, mostly because she's a fantastic artist, but we did our part to help out. We also do social visits. There's a lot of isolation and loneliness. I'm sure you all probably know that in rural areas like ours, it's rampant. And our volunteers will go into people's homes and have a cup of tea, read a book, or just listen, which is becoming a lost art. We're going to do our first customer survey this year. After 10 years, we want to make sure that we're providing the right amount of services. the services that we provide. Are we doing a good job? And are there other things that we could be doing? You know, over time, people's needs change, and there's always room for continuous improvement, even with GOT. So I'm looking forward to see what comes out of that. We have secondary services, which are social in nature, and it involves creating social events where people can go to, look forward to going to. We partnered with another nonprofit that's based here in Narrowsburg called Tustin Social 2 years ago, and together we created something called the Sage Sessions, and they take place right over here at the DVAA in Krause Hall. It's the first and third Thursday of every month. It is a consistent schedule, and that seniors like having something to look forward to that they don't have to remember. They can put it on their calendar, and they always know on the first and third Thursdays of the month, there's going to be Sage Sessions at the DVAA, and we have educational programs. There's always a program, education, information, entertainment, and there's always delicious lunch and cupcakes by Sue Cole, one of our fabulous bakers who lives here in Narrowsburg. Coffee and tea, it's provided by Two Queens, and it's free of charge for anybody, not just GOT. Anyone who's 60 years and up, you know, and we say that lives in the area, but quite frankly, they could be a visitor. You just have to be 60, and we don't card people. But, and we have gotten, maybe we should, we've, just make them feel young. We usually have between 30 and 50 people at these events, so they have become a thing. Now, most of our members live in Wayne County, and they have said to us, you know, well, that's great, I'm happy for your success, but why are you not doing it in Homestead or Beach Lake or somewhere that's more convenient? It's a fair question. So we have now partnered with the Cooperage Project, and we are looking to do the same thing in Homestead, probably at the Cooperage. And we're looking to start that in July, probably once a month, but we're going to take the model that has now been proven and works and transplant it over there in Homestead. And I'm super excited to get to work with the Cooperage people as well. They're wonderful, they're dedicated, and they were very enthusiastic to help us out with that. As a nonprofit, we rely exclusively on external funding to be able to fulfill our mission, to grow, to evangelize the organization. And we do that through 6 different streams of income. One is the donations, like the ones you have provided for us. Are you a nonprofit organization? Yeah, so donations from other nonprofits. We have grants. Those come primarily from the area foundations, like the Wayne County Community Foundation. We just established a relationship with the Homestead National Bank Foundation, and they gave us a very nice grant. Wayne Memorial Health Foundation, Sullivan County was very generous 2 years ago and gave us a grant for $5,000. Private donations from individuals, fundraising events. Hopefully the big one you heard over the past 2 years was called the Lavapalooza. And we learned some lessons from that. It was a lot to put on, and the weather wound up becoming a bit of a red herring because we did it outside. It was a big 50s carnival picnic, and it was a lot of fun. But the weather worked against us, and we thought maybe we should try to do something, not put all our eggs in one basket. So this year we're doing more smaller scale events, and we're going to have a pig roast at one of our board members' house, Tom and Mary Ann Hagether. They live right on the banks of the Delaware in Milanville, PA, and they're a fabulous place and do pig roasts anyway, so we're going to have one there. We'll be advertising that. It's going to be in July. And like smaller dinners, cocktail parties that people have in their homes. We're looking to do some of that where they invite their friends with their checkbooks. And then the other big fun thing we're going to do this year is the GOT Family Cookbook. And we're hoping that that will be published in May or June. And we have asked for our members and our volunteers to submit their favorite recipes along with a memory or a story. And we are still accepting submissions. And thank you to those of you in the room who have provided some recipes, but we can still use a more. And then our members also pay annual dues of $150 a year. This calendar year, we are looking to raise $57,000 to pursue our mission, and that is up from 21%. That was our budget in 2024. I look at that as a sign of success and growth. Our largest expenses are staffing. That went up by 20% in 2024. That's primarily to the conversion of 2 of our volunteer roles to paid roles. Our volunteer coordinator, this is because the hours became so much that it was really not a volunteer position anymore. Our volunteer coordinator does the intake for all of our new volunteers, the training, the vetting, volunteer appreciation events. It became a pretty meaty role, so it was worthy of becoming a paid role. And also our technical operations director, that person handles all of our data input into our back office request fulfillment system. We have a software company that does all that. There's tech support. So that was also becoming a pretty meaty role, and it deserved to be compensated. So they're not just staffing for staffing's sake. Those roles help with our operations efficiency and resiliency. And then my role, the executive director role, has always been a compensated role, but my primary focus is on marketing, legal and compliance. We are now registering with New York State because we have been operating in New York State, and we've gotten to the threshold where we need to be recognized by the state government as a charitable corporation. So I handle that sort of stuff, as well as board development. We're always looking for new board members. Our marketing campaign this year has gone up from last year. It is aggressive. It's aggressive for what we've done in the past, but it involves advertising. For those of you who listen to the radio, we have a partnership with Bold Gold Media, and we're advertising on their stations, both in Huntsville at 105.5 Classic Hits, where music was good back in the 70s and the 80s. Also with Thunder Country in Sullivan County. We're placing ads in our local newspapers, the River Reporter, also the Democrat, and occasionally at the Tri-County Independent. For those of you who go to the movies, Calhoun Theater is showing our ad there. It actually has been for nearly a year. And I know that it's working because when we do an intake for new members and volunteers, we ask them, how did you hear about us? Because that's the only real way we can find out whether our advertising campaign has any legs. Is anybody listening? Is it drawing in new people? And the answer is yes. It is money well spent. We plan to continue to do that sort of thing. And then we're also doing some targeted video segments. These are to support fundraising initiatives like NEPA Gives, which happens in June. On the Pennsylvania side, we're going to participate in Hudson Valley Gives this year. And we're going to generate some videos that'll probably be me talking about the importance of our mission and why we're worthy of your dollars. So please give and give again. And thank you for giving. And last year we did a video of Carol Rockland, one of our founders, interviewing her about the genesis of GOT, and that's what I would like to show right now. Tom, if you could hit it. It's 2 minutes long. Oh, here? Yeah.
used to drive Carol to the doctor. Hello, Charlie.
She's wonderful. Now, oops,
So,
that's okay. Yeah, there's a second one, but we're not gonna watch that one. Even though it's good. It's Christine San Jose. She's another one of our early members who's since moved to North Carolina. We miss her, but I was able to get her to interview her in her home too, and it's funny. You know, maybe we can show it afterwards. We'll see. Maybe the next time. I'm going to wrap up with some success statistics. Since our inception, we have registered over 190 members in the area. We recruited and trained over 120 volunteers, and we have fulfilled over 2,700 service requests for our members. Just last year, we set some ambitious targets for growing the number of seniors we serve, as well as recruiting of volunteers, and we met them and we exceeded them. We increased our membership by 25%, and we increased our volunteership by 25%. Now, we cannot sit back on our laurels. We always need more volunteers. People's situations in life changes. They didn't have a job, now they get a job. They can't volunteer the way they used to. They moved away or whatever. I think it's the nature of volunteering. So we're always looking for new volunteers. And our services not only benefit our members, but they often provide peace of mind and comfort for their loved ones. They can rest easier knowing that their loved ones are receiving the attention and support that they need. And I like to think that our volunteers are also benefiting from being volunteers. It's scientifically proven that volunteering provides a meaningful sense of purpose, and it's almost a given, at least in GOT, that if you're going to provide services to a senior, you're probably going to make some friends and you're going to foster some wonderful relationships. But like I said, we're always looking for volunteers. If you or someone you know, this is my pitch. If you or somebody you know has some extra time on your hands and would like to round out their life's experience with some volunteer work, I'd love to talk to you. I have flyers that are very specific to the volunteer experience. I'd be happy to give you as many of those as you want. Also, and even more importantly, if you or somebody you know could use our services, of course, I'd be happy to talk to you. And I have flyers that talk more about the services that we provide and how we could set that up for you. So again, I just want to thank you all so much. The check that I believe I'm getting today, it's material and it's important, and it represents almost 2% of our overall operating budget. So that is significant. So thank you for your generosity and your consideration and the opportunity to talk to you today. Thank you.
And we thank you on phone. And with that, we will present this check to Growing Older Together.
Oh, wait, somebody got to take
Well,
pictures.
yeah,
Oh.
well, we can do it later, whatever.
Yeah, we can pretend, right? We can do it. Thank you so much, Joe. Do you want us to wait, Lori? Oh, yeah, yeah.
Picture.
Like this.
Yeah.
Maybe not in front, back of this.
Yeah, I
All the
mean,
wonderful services that you guys do. I mean, does anybody else from the board or something want to be in this picture?
yeah, we can do this later. It's just like one of those things. I always forget. You don't have to be marketing like all the time.
All the time.
The hand is always out.
yeah,
It's
Over here.
true.
How does this thing on?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jill.
My pleasure, truly.
This hug is from all of you.
And I love volunteering for this organization. I do co-manager, I also do things for people, I went to change this wonderful lady's life bulb. If you ever get her, if you're a volunteer, go out, what was Joe, oh my gosh, what a sweetie, little Irish woman, oh my God, we had such a nice time,
Oh,
so.
I'm glad to hear.
Yeah, it was really darling, but yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I'd like to say something
Yeah.
about, where you going?
I'm going right
Oh,
over
wait,
here.
yeah, any
Coffee and then
questions
come
from
back
the
up.
audience and our Zoomers?
Yes, Tom.
Yeah, I'd like to say something as a board member. Each year, the board of directors of the Upper Delaware Legal Fellowship selects the beneficiaries for the walkathon, for the Walk for Social Justice. I'm sorry. The Fund for Social Justice, whatever the case may be, whether there's a walk or not. We did have a walk this year, but I can't say that I'm speaking for the board on this, but I am speaking for myself as a board member. The criterion that was important to me was for the four organizations that were selected, including GOT, is that So many of its services, really all of its services are direct care, direct services to people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true for SALT, and it's true for, obviously, for Habitat for Humanity and Victims Intervention Program,
Mm-hmm.
direct to people. So thank you. How many active volunteers do you have, and how many?
At the
members
moment,
do you have at the moment?
we just signed on 2 new volunteers, or members last week that live here in Harrisburg, which brings us up to 67 members. And we have 56 volunteers.
Almost 1-to-1.
Almost. I would prefer for the ratio to be flipped. I would rather have more volunteers than I have members. But, you know, we do what we can. But, you know, so now you know. If I could, I'd always want more volunteers than members. But, you know, we've almost never had to say no to a member. We can usually always find a volunteer. I mean, it's probably less than 10 since I've been with the organization where we've had to tell somebody we were not able to find a volunteer. And, you know, we'd love for it to be 100%, but that's a pretty good success ratio. Stephen?
In case we need, somebody needs to get a drive to the doctor or something, how long, in advance should we contact?
We ask for 2 weeks.
Okay.
You know, and usually people know in advance when their doctor's appointments are going to happen. It's not really a challenge for people. But because we do have to go out and find a volunteer that's generally in the area. Some of our volunteers are willing to travel, you know, over to Homesdale if they're based in Narrowsburg. But not everybody can. So yeah, we ask for 2 weeks. But people can call a couple of days in advance and we will still do our best. Our call manager is not going to say, sorry, you didn't call early enough, but we set their expectations that, you know, you're only giving us a couple of days. We're going to do our best. A lot of times we still get volunteers, but you know, it is about managing people's expectations about what we can do and what we can't. We are not an on-demand organization. We're not.
I had a call like that on Friday morning. The woman called and she has something, a doctor's appointment book, but she wanted somebody to take her shopping in an hour.
Did you find someone?
No, I did not try. I explained to her that we really need a little more, but I also explained to her too that she could set up, if a Friday afternoon is when she'd like to go shopping, we'd set it up for multiple Fridays.
Yeah.
You know, to get them accustomed to the fact that we, you know, because then you have people maybe that'll take that. Would take Brian Woods every Thursday to his therapy in Homesdale. They're in Florida now, what for them, been warm, but you know, but it's warm here now. But yeah, so yes, getting people set up on routine things is always a good thing.
Yeah, we're here to say yes, not no.
Right.
So we do our best.
You know, part of me was like, okay, what's coming? What do I have to do this afternoon? I on this woman, but you know, that was not going to happen.
So,
In your description of your funding sources, I am glad that you did not mention anything from federal government
yeah,
for stability's sake.
yeah,
Have you looked at possible funding from Medicaid, from New York State?
no.
Are you interested in that?
I'm interested in all kinds of sources of money. So yeah, I mean, we're fortunate that we have a balanced budget. We actually, you know, nonprofits can make a profit, just not too much. And last year we actually made $5,000. This year I'm planning on spending more than we make. So, you know, it all kind of balances out or it's a wash. But it's at some point, I actually think, you know, we're going to be needing to convert more of our volunteer positions in the future. And when we start to do these SAGE sessions, we're going to need funding for that. I mean, we'll be sharing it with the Cooperage, but you know, these are expenses that I wasn't thinking about. So I'm always going to need additional sources of funding. So maybe Medicaid, it'd be worth looking into. Do you have a contact?
I may have some information. I thought
Okay.
of you recently when I got an email. I will take a close
Thank you.
look at it forward.
Wonderful. Thank you. Did I see? Yes.
The SAGE session in Homestead, is that in addition to the ones here?
Yes.
In addition.
Yeah, we want to provide more opportunities for our seniors, not less. So it'll be great. And we will cross promote. So we'll be talking about the SAGE sessions in Huntsdale at the ones that take place here and vice versa. And we're meeting next Friday with the Cooperage is going to handle this meeting, and they're bringing a lot of people from the community to get their input, and Greta, who runs the SAGE sessions here, is also participating in that. So, and she's been really gracious to offer up anything that she's been able to use, including all the people who we've had and come and do programs. you know, it's not proprietary. She's like, by all means, let them come and do the same thing or slightly different in home sale. And we're probably even gonna use Janice, who's our
Oh,
caterer.
great.
So. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Just a simple question, so to speak. Uh, You said you would have to be vetted to be a member,
To be volunteer.
to be a volunteer,
Yes.
but you don't have to be vetted to be a member.
You do not. We will do an initial assessment. We want to make sure that expectations are managed, so that it's a good fit. Because, you know, I mentioned the things we do, things we don't do are medical. You know, we're not like caregivers that are on site. We don't administer medications. We don't outfit people's homes with grab bars or ramps, although we have partners with people who we can refer you to. But beyond that, and we also want to make sure that wherever this potential member is, that it's a safe space for our volunteers. But, you know, but there's no vetting or criminal background or anything.
Well, I was kind of thinking, you know, the recipients of this group, do they have to be vetted also?
The people we serve.
Yeah.
No, they do not have to be vetted, just the volunteers.
So the government tells you that the volunteers got to be vetted?
No, it's our insurance policy that tells, we have a very comprehensive liability insurance policy that protects our members and our volunteers when a service is being provided. And so they require that our volunteers get vetted, and we use a private agency called IntelliCore that does the background checks and the, you know, and checks for driver's licenses.
So if the recipient has a criminal background, and you send a lady out to do a job, and she gets in trouble, what happens?
We've never gotten in that situation yet. So I don't know what would happen.
Because most people that need services are pretty low on the totem pole as far as their needs. They got a need, so they're asking for help.
Right. I mean, I guess we have to rely a little bit on human kindness, that if we have a member who is in need and they are asking for our services, that they are most likely not going to harm our volunteer. But if they did, I don't know, I guess we would have to wait until it happened, hoping that it never would. But if there was an injury or something like that, our insurance policy would cover that. Does that answer your question?
How far into Pike County are you now? I
Uh,
live down by the Lackawaxen River.
Oh,
There's a lot of people down there who are alone. We're going that far now? I hope so.
yes, we are. You know, our former president, Marcia Nehemiah, do you know her?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, she lives right down there in
Yeah.
Lackawaxen. And,
I was
We-
volunteering back 5 years ago, and at that point, they were not going that far. I
Yeah.
was trying, but
we would need to establish the need first, you know, I'm sure there are members or potential members that
Yeah,
need our help.
yeah.
You know, if you could help us to locate.
Spread
them.
out. Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I've been working for the last 3 years, so I couldn't. But yeah, I've been thinking about it.
okay. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I finish answering your question, sir?
I'd like to say yes, not exactly.
Remember though, that when somebody wants to become a member,
Right.
people go out and talk to them about them, have records on them. So even though we're not finding out that they might have a criminal background, they could have been 14 years old, you know? So, but they're vetted, so to speak, but not criminally.
Right. We do a home visit, and the interviewers for the prospective new member, they'll do an assessment, look around, make sure that things look safe for any volunteer that would come to show up and be of service.
It sounds like the assessment is a vetting process.
It is a vetting. It's just not a criminal vetting.
Right.
That's a good point.
Not an issue.
So you don't work with the government, you don't work with Medicaid.
No.
That's the difference. Separate them. So a lot of those people are Medicaid, services, but
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you again.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Thank you. Finish off there. Okay, where did I put it?
Maybe it's on the corner.
Let me see. I've lost myself.
Tommy, you didn't pick up Jill's papers, did you?
No, but I may have laid mine on top
Oh,
of it.
that's right.
There's no sodium? Is that it?
No, unless.
Oh, yes, some of mine.
Yes, Okay. So it's out for 2025. Bless you. Thank you.
Definitely.
Great. Beautiful pledge for UF.
The Unitarian pledge for the year.
Yeah.
How much?
Yes, you, thank you, Heidi. Thank you. All right, some closing words, and then Lori will have a closing song, and we'll have the chalice extinguishing.
If that's what you can afford, that's about what I can afford. Right now.
Changes abound around us, within us, between us, in our communities, our neighborhoods, and our beloved faith communities. Changes abound. May we each find the balance point we need as we move through our ever-changing world. The balance between the old and the new, between the known and the unknown, between the familiar and perhaps bold and risky possibilities that may be there waiting. We'll have a closing song from Lori, but I also, did anybody from Sharon or Georgette or Tamara, did anybody want to ask Tommy something? Because I think we.
Yeah, yes. Can you hear me?
Yep,
We're in.
now we can't, you muted yourself.
I didn't get the Carol Rockland film. I would have liked to have seen her, but it didn't come through on the Zoom.
I will send out a link in the email. What's your email? I'll send it out to an email blast to the whole list.
Okay, thank you.
That link.
Thank you. I'll look forward to that too. This is Tamara. And thanks, Jill, for calling out to us. Thank you so much for today. What is the age of Growing Old Together? Who do you service?
People 60 years and up in
Okay.
Wayne County, Western Sullivan, and very northern Pike counties.
Thanks so much, Tom. I'm gonna connect with you.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to do some volunteering. I have an idea I want to run by you. But thank you so much for today. It was wonderful presentation. Thanks.
This is Georgette. I'm not going to use the video, but I'm going to say I am so delighted with the growth of Growing Older Together and the direction it's taken. And it's helped a lot of people and will continue to. So I applaud everybody on the board, all the volunteers, and you, Tommy. It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgette.
Thank you, guys. Okay, Lori, the closing song, and then we'll.
So in the first reading that Jill used, she talked about how we are renewed. And that's really the way I think about coming together. You know, we're in this different space, connecting to all that's good. So the words are, I'm renewed by the warmth of the sun. I'm renewed by the circling of the earth. I'm renewed by the breath of the wind in the trees. I'm renewed and refreshed by love. And I'll sing it. And I'll be handing you the words. Starts with the circling of the earth. I'm renewed by the circling of the earth. I'm renewed by the warmth of the sun. I'm renewed by the breath of the wind in the trees. I'm renewed and refreshed by love. I'm renewed by the circling of the earth. I'm renewed by the circling of the earth, by the warmth of the sun. I'm renewed by the warmth of the sun, breath of the wind in the trees. Renewed by the breath of the wind in the trees. I'm renewed and refreshed by love, circling of the earth. I'm renewed by the circling of the earth, warmth of the sun. I'm renewed by the warmth of the sun, breath of the wind. I'm renewed by the breath of the wind in the trees. I'm renewed and refreshed by love. Do it again. I'm renewed by the circling of the earth, warmth of the sun. I'm renewed by the warmth of the sun, breath in the trees. Renewed by the breath of the wind in the trees. I'm renewed and refreshed by love. We'll just do it. And you can, if you lose it, you just listen to your neighbor. Because together, we have knowledge. I'm renewed by the circling of the earth. I'm renewed by the warmth of the sun. I'm renewed by the breath of the wind in the trees. I'm renewed and refreshed by love again. I'm renewed by the circling of the earth. I'm renewed by the warmth of the sun. I'm renewed by the breath of the wind in the trees. I'm renewed and refreshed by love. We'll use that as a meditation. I'm renewed with the circling of the earth. I'm renewed by the warmth of the sun. I'm renewed by the breath of the wind in the trees. I'm renewed and refreshed by love. I'm renewed and refreshed by love. I'm renewed and refreshed by love.
Thank you, Lori, that was beautiful.
Beautiful, thank you.
Okay, we'll have the chalice extinguishing. Together, we have enjoyed the warmth and beauty of stories of this flame and of this special community. As our chalice flame is extinguished this morning, we can still remember that its glow is carried within us. We can use our inner lights and this flame to kindle new sparks throughout our lives and in the world. May the spirit of peace and togetherness bless your lives. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, Tamara.
Hey, thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
We have some refreshments in the back. Cameron and Georgette. So, Heidi, I need you and Lori and